Welcome to Talking Comfort Live, where HVAC professionals go for fun, learning, and sharing, while exploring the world of mini splits, heat pumps, and the inverter technology that brings efficient comfort to our fascinating industry. We're looking for you to be a part of the show. If you have a question, whether it centers around application, installation, preventative maintenance, troubleshooting, a future technology, or anything we share on the show, send it our way by clicking the question mark icon to the right of your screen. Now, on to Talking Comfort Live.
Welcome back. I'm James McIntyre with GREE, and I'd like to thank you for joining us on this season's 5th episode of Talking Comfort Live. Today we'll be covering a range of HVAC topics that will help you sell, service, and support your customers with confidence. Here in a bit, we'll open up the floor to your questions and comments, so please, we encourage you to get in on the conversation. As a reminder, if you have questions or comments at any time during this broadcast, use the question mark icon to the right of the screen and send them our way. After we cover a few topics, we'll regroup at the end to answer any relevant questions until we have run out of time. Here's a rundown of what we're covering today. We'll hear from Greg and Daniel as they explore the XE72 mini-split wall controller. Then we'll hear from Greg as he covers a great tip on troubleshooting a cross-wired or mispiped multi-zone mini-split unit. Next, Justin will talk to us about the new FLEXX Eco system along with the release of a downflow kit. And following that update, I'll ask for the latest news with GREE and the A2L refrigerant change. Finally, we'll come back to Daniel, who is excited to tell you about the new AI chatbot being rolled out on GreeComfort.com. Again, this is your opportunity to connect with us and become more comfortable with the latest in GREE Comfort. With that said, let's send it over to Greg and Daniel for an intro to the XE72 wall controller. Go ahead, fellas.
So this is the XE72 Wi-Fi wall controller, and what I wanted to show you, a few of the differences here are that there is no menu that you can really go into that's going to explain to you what's what. So the menu that you can go into, you can still set your static notches from here using this. You can choose whether you want to sense the temperature here at the controller or at the indoor unit itself. You can do the same things, but when you go into the menu here, this is the menu that you have. So you're going to have to cycle through which is which. For mode, so number 2 right there, that's my static notches. So I'm at 5, so I can adjust that, up or down. And then I'm going to hit mode to change it. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to hit enter and exit that. So if you go into the manual, it'll explain which code is which. You can change the ambient sensor, where it's sensing from, the static notches and whatnot. Other than that, you've got your standard modes, cool, dry, fan, heat, and auto. You've got your swing. You've got some functions that you can set. And then you've got your fan speeds. And you've got your timer you can set. And then on, off, up, down. So the biggest thing about this one is if you really want to use the GREE Plus app, Wi-Fi with a cassette, slim duct, then you can plug this up to it, and then you can hook Wi-Fi to the system through this and control it with your phone. You're not going to see room temp, and you're not going to see an error code if it pops up on your phone if you're away. And I'll show you the back of this. You'll see the reason why we say we're not going to utilize this as the adapter for the cool automation, because there's no way to access a control board and flip that dip switch that we would need to if we were going to utilize it. So before we wrap it up here, I wanted to actually show using this for the Wi-Fi connection, just so everybody can kind of see how that works. And we already saw the kind of the initial how do you hook up Wi-Fi using the app and showing that. But I'll just show you kind of the differences here. So if we click on AC, like we're adding a unit, and then we switch to different reset ways. So we've got the remote controller with the Wi-Fi button or without, or wired controller. So we want to select that. And then on the control panel of the controller, we want the power off, and then we want to hold down function and fan for 5 seconds, and then we should see OC pop up. There it is. Reset is complete. Now keep in mind the Wi-Fi module, it's only going to release the Wi-Fi signal from the module 2 minutes after it's reset. So we're going to click that we've completed that reset and hit next. And we actually, looks like we may already have it ready to go there. Okay, so next. That's usually where you get hung up, is the password, the Wi-Fi password. So if you're getting hung up and it's just not working for you, go ahead and double check that password. So I'm just going to put study C. So now we can see that it's hooked up and controlling. From the phone, it's controlling the XE72 Wi-Fi control. Pretty good stuff. No matter what you choose, or what your customer wants to do, built-in Wi-Fi or added-on Wi-Fi or cool automation, we've got a lot of options. And a lot of good features with those options that we have.
Thanks, guys. I know you had a great session covering the wall controllers and cool automation last week. Greg and Daniel will be answering your questions in the Q&A session, so let us know if you have any additional controls questions. Okay, let's head back to Atlanta so Greg can help us troubleshoot one reason why you might show up to a job site with frozen pipes. Greg?
Today I want to talk about multi-zone mini splits and what happens when we cross-wire or mispipe the outdoor unit with multi-zone systems. In this system that I've got running here right now, it has 2 circuits, both A and B hooked up. C is not utilized. And as you can see, the B circuit's froze up. The reason why that circuit is froze up is because up on the terminal blocks, A and B wiring is crossed, meaning our piping from our indoor unit going to the A circuit, the wiring from that head is going to B, and the piping that's going to the B circuit and the wiring from that is going to A. So the system that's supposed to be running is the A circuit, but since it's wired to the B circuit, we're controlling the flow on the EVs to the wrong circuit. So therefore, on this B circuit that's not supposed to be running, we have no airflow, we have no indoor fan, and that's why the lines are froze up. So when you're installing these systems, you need to be very careful and make sure your piping from your A circuit goes to the A service valves, and then your wiring from that head goes to the A terminal block. And then the B piping needs to go to the B service valves, and the wiring from the B needs to go to the B terminal block. And then the same thing with C. And if you cross-wire those, as I just showed you, you're going to get freeze-ups. Now, if both of those indoor units were calling at the same time, then it won't freeze up because we're controlling the EVs on both of them. So keep that in mind when you're installing a multi-zone system. The other thing you want to keep in mind is that we don't want to cross the pipes either. When you're laying out your piping and your wiring, make sure you're not switching the gas pipe from, say, the B circuit with the gas pipe that's on the A circuit. If you crisscross those two, you're going to have flow problems the same way and can have freeze-ups. Same as if we are liquid pipe, or the small pipe is a lot of times it's referred to. If you cross those up, you're not going to flow the refrigerant into the right head again, and you're going to end up with frozen lines again. The one thing that I like to point out to guys when I talk to them on the phone is the majority of the time when you do a new install, you run the whole system, you have all the heads functioning. We never ran just one head, so then you leave thinking the whole system's working properly, and then the next day or two the homeowner's calling you saying, hey, this thing's freezing up. And then you go out there and you turn all of the units on again and nothing freezes up. Well, it won't do it unless one head is calling. So be very careful of that. And you may want to do your final checks running one head at a time and make sure you got proper pressures and the unit's not freezing up. So with that, hope that helps you out with multi-zone systems. And remember, with GREE, we're always by your side.
Thanks, Greg. I hope many contractors out there will take your advice and test out individual heads before leaving the installation. It's a lot easier than coming back the next day to a frozen indoor unit. All right, Mr. Sillsbury, everyone wants to know more about our new FLEXX Eco. Can you touch on that system for us? And I know one question we get is regarding a downflow option. So if you wouldn't mind, please cover that as well.
All right, so this afternoon I'm going to talk about our FLEXX Eco 15.5 SEER 2 ducted split system product. So a bit of information about this. It's very similar to our current FLEXX product that goes down to the negative 22 degrees. But this product was made to be more of a lower cost economical version for the southern market. And as you can see, we're only getting the 15.5 SEER, and this product will heat down to 5 degrees as opposed to negative 22. But again, in the southern market, most places you're not going to need that negative 22 ultra heat capacity. But since it's still a FLEXX, it's able to match with any kind of air handler, A coil, gas furnace, etc. It is 24 volt control. And what's great about this is we've added some additional capacities versus the current FLEXX. As you can see here, we have 6 capacity units to kind of meet all the needs that we have out there. With this product, you're not going to have just 2 outdoor units like a 2/3 and then a 4/5. You're actually going to have 6 different outdoor units. But the advantage of this is now we can dial in exactly the capacity you need, because we're currently offering the half-ton sizes, 2.5 and the 3.5 that the other FLEXX just didn't have. All right, with this, we're going to have 4 footprints for the outdoor units. You're going to have the standard 2-ton, 2.5/3, 3.5/4, and of course the 5-ton. But like I said before, these are going to be dedicated sizes. There aren't going to be any dip switches to flip to change your capacities. If you need a 2.5-ton, you'd order the 2.5-ton. With the indoor units, there will be 3 footprints. We have our 2/2.5, 3/3.5, and of course the 4/5. Again, the old model FLEXX had just 2 sizes. The new FLEXX Eco will have 3 sizes of indoor unit. One last thing I want to point out with these, they just come from the factory, capable of being installed vertically or horizontally. However, we will have accessory downflow kits available. Those are just released this week, so we should have those in stock here pretty quick. In addition to that, these use a different heater than the old FLEXX. These new heaters will have an additional thermal sensor on them for added safety. Those heaters are also now available. This unit does come with our DC inverter-driven compressor, but again, this is just one of the standard heat inverter compressors. It's not the ultra heat. Of course, 24 volt control. Outdoor units have that flexible installation footprint. It's got the side discharge, so you're going to be able to put it in all sorts of applications. And the indoor units can achieve up to 1-inch water gauge static pressure. For most applications, this is going to fit perfectly for you. Another great benefit about these units, they're going to come standard with the gold anti-corrosive coating, which is capable of withstanding 1,500 hours of salt spray. On these, most of our units will have an aluminum heat sink, which the board is bolted to help dissipate the heat, because as I've said before, heat is one of the major killers of electronics. But what's really cool about this product is it uses a refrigerant loop to actively cool the electronic components. So instead of relying on that heat sink, hopefully release the heat, now we're actively cooling this refrigerant. So it's going to be a more reliable system. On all the outdoor units, the valves are on the outside of the unit, and we've angled those at a 45 degree. I know with the original FLEXX on the 2/3-ton, the valves are actually up inside the unit, and it was very difficult to get to those. You'd have to use an adapter or get creative with your tubing benders to get up inside there. With this model, all the valves are on the outside. And again, we've angled them at that 45 degrees so you can get in there and connect to those quite easily. Reach out to your salespeople. They should have the pricing on the accessories and they can get you hooked up. That's it. That's all I've got. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for that update, Justin. We try to give our audience an update on every show regarding the A2L change. I know it's important for everyone, and that's the reason why we keep talking about it. Do you have anything for us?
Yeah, so here's a quick update as to where we are on the new R32 A2L products. With our ductless line and our multi-zone line, most of the R32 products will be available for a replenishment order from the factory beginning in May, which means if we order those products in May, we're not going to see them until, late August, early September. What that means for us and all of our customers, we will be running through the summer season with our 410A equipment. Don't expect to see any R32 equipment available from us until, like I said, that late August, early September timeframe. With regards to the FLEXX products, the newest R32 FLEXX Ultra Heat model, that will be available for replenishment order, like I said, with the ductless products in May. That'll be switching over then. The FLEXX Eco R32 product will be later this year, so I'll be looking for that around the September timeframe for replenishment order. And of course, the A coils will be later this year as well. With VRF, the multi-pro / single phase VRF product, that's going to change over this year. Those will begin changing over later in September. The three-phase product won't begin changing over until late 2025. The three-phase product doesn't have to change over until 2026. The MTAC product will be changing late this year around the September timeframe. We do have some new indoor units that we'll be releasing, so just kind of keep an eye out for updates on all those. And the package unit product, that's going to kind of change over late this year as well. So that'll be around the September timeframe. We just want to make sure that most of these products, when they change over, we're going to have plenty of time to import them so they can arrive before the end of the year. However, the EPA did extend the 410A sell-through period by 12 months. Any kind of leftover R410A inventory that we may have or our customers may have in stock, they can continue selling through those systems all through next year. Not a big deal if anybody maybe over-ordered some 410A or has some stuff left over. We got plenty of time to sell through that. So the changeover to R32 isn't quite as urgent as everyone may have thought, last year. So that's our current timeline. That's the update. If anything else pops up, we'll be sure to do a mass email, get the marketing brochures out there to let everybody know what the changes are. And the best way for people to stay in tune with any updates would be to either go to greecomfort.com, look for any additional information there, look at your emails, look at LinkedIn, just pay attention to all the marketing information that Tatiana puts out for everybody. Those are going to be the main avenues for any kind of updates, or just tune in to Talking Comfort Live, which we're going to be talking about this probably every month anyways. So those are going to be the best ways to stay informed.
Thank you, Justin. That's a lot of good information there. Before we wrap up our presentations and hear from the audience, let's go back to Atlanta because I know Daniel would love to share a new functionality that has been released on the greecomfort.com website. Daniel, over to you.
Thanks, James. So we've been working on the chatbot on the greecomfort.com website for a few months now, and excited to launch it in the past couple of weeks, and we've been testing it out. And please go take a look, and let's look at it right now. In the lower right-hand corner, you click on the chat, and this is what you're going to see. Hello there, how can I help? Choose a couple of options, 3 options here. And for this example, I'll just choose distributor. And it says, hey, I'm here to assist. Could you let me know if you're already a GREE distributor? So yes, I am. And it says, please follow the link below so we can assist you. So you can click open ticket, and that will take you to a place where you can open a ticket, or if you want to type in a question, you can ask it a question such as documents, and it'll give you a suggestion. And keep in mind, it's still learning, so the more questions it gets asked, the more answers that it's going to have. So for instance, if I type in warranty, it should come up with something to do. See, there we go. So it'll take me to the warranty claim page, and then if I need to, maybe I need a troubleshooting error code, and it'll give me the error code troubleshooting tool, which will take me to that page where I can just type in the error code that I have and get some troubleshooting steps for it. So really excited about this tool. I'm glad that we have it on the website now. It's been it's been a long time coming, and I hope that it helps you as you navigate the website. And don't forget, with GREE, we're by your side.
Thanks for that, Daniel. I'm sure that tool is going to help us help our customers as quickly as possible. We already have some great questions, so let us get to those. As a reminder, click that question mark icon to the right of the screen and submit your questions and comments. So our first question that we're going to talk about is, I've seen other manufacturers go into R454B. You seem pretty confident in R32. Why are others going to 454? Because of the GWP, safety, or future-proof, or what? I think Mr. Sillsbury can answer that question for us.
Sure. So the reason why we're going to R32, well, there's a multitude of reasons, actually. So first of all, R32 is currently open source. There's no active patent on it. So that means it's going to be more widely available. It's going to be less expensive than some of these other refrigerants that currently do have a patent on them. R32 has been used widely across the globe for many, many years, so it has a proven track record of performance and safety. R32 is, pound for pound more efficient and has better capacity than R454. Because of that, then we're able to actually go in and use less refrigerant in the units. So R454 is going to be more comparable to charge sizes of, say, 410, whereas on R32 we can lessen those charge sizes. So if, God forbid, there is a leak or something like that, you're going to have to put back in less refrigerant. R454 also does not contain any fluorine chemicals. You guys may have heard of PFAS, or those fluorine forever chemicals that a lot of other companies use in their refrigerants. More and more information is coming out about these fluorine chemicals polluting the environment and causing cancer, in people and animals. So R32 doesn't contain stuff like that, so it's a bit safer. So a lot of reasons why we're going to R32. I think the only thing the R454 has over R32 is that direct GWP, or global warming potential number. It is lower. So if potentially, 2029, 2030, if there's another restriction on that, R32 could potentially get phased out. However, if you look at not only the direct GWP, but also the indirect numbers for CO2 emissions, you combine the direct and indirect numbers, R32 actually comes out lower than 454. So there's an argument there to be made for the longevity of R32. So again, it's proven, it's overall a better refrigerant. We believe in it, and that's why we're going with R32.
Right. So effectively, you're saying that it's, as far as them lowering the GWP, not only is it up in the air, but how they go about defining whether or not they're going to be using direct or indirect would determine whether or not something like that were to be phased out. Correct.
Correct. There's a lot to be done on the mathematics of how they actually calculate the emissions and everything else. Because currently, we complain all the time about the way they test single phase versus inverter. Well, now we can complain about how they're testing the manufacturing and production of all these different refrigerants and other chemicals and stuff, right? So a lot of it comes down to lobbying and where the money's going, right? So, but we won't get into that.
Okay, yeah. So we won't say follow the money, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely won't say that. All right, so let's see here. Next question. Thank you for that, Justin. The next question is, let's see. It's a question regarding the Wi-Fi and the GREE Plus app. You said that, we had covered it before, and we absolutely have. Where can I find that video? Mr. Bruntz, where can we find that video?
So as of right now, it was on the last month's Talking Comfort Live, And so that video is posted, so you can find it there, but we will be releasing it shortly as a separate video on YouTube as well. So that should be coming out real soon, probably by the end of the week.
Perfect. All right. The next question is, can I use the heat kit of the current FLEXX on the FLEXX Eco, or do I need a specific one for the Eco?
So you have to use a different heat kit with the FLEXX Eco. So there are different part numbers. You cannot use the heat kit that was used in the original FLEXX. So the biggest difference is on the new heat kit, there's an additional temperature sensor there that we added for some additional safety. The information has been posted on the website. The manual is there. And I think those were just air freighted this week. So we should see those new heat kits in our inventory, hopefully by the end of next week.
Well, one thing I'll kind of add to that is when Daniel and I did the FLEXX Eco installation live broadcast just last month, we covered that sensor on that heat kit, and you can't interchange them, and you will get an error code if that it goes into an overheat situation. Obviously, we just did it by unplugging it, but it's the same kind of thing. It can't read the temperature properly. It's going to throw out an error code. And the error codes, I believe, were listed in the manual too, what the flashes meant. So, but I've slept since then. I don't remember exactly what it was. I tell guys all the time, it's about knowing where the answers are when you need them, not memorizing everything, because my brain can't hold it all more.
All right. So on the multi-zone mini split, this is what this is in reference to. If I'm using only two circuits, do you have to use A and B, or can I use C, D? Is there a priority circuit effectively?
There's no priority to the circuits on the multi-zone units, and nor some manufacturers, they require the largest unit to be on a certain circuit. That's the good thing about GREE equipment is there is no limitations to which pipe you use, which circuits you use or don't use. Just make sure you're following the submittals, and if it's saying that you got to have at least 2 indoor units, I would recommend you have at least 2 indoor units.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Greg. Are there any error codes that would help me know that pipes or wires are crossed? So in reference to the crossed piping or wiring portion of the video?
Generally, what I see is more when the pipes are crossed, you get erratic operation or freezing up the refrigerant lines. I guess eventually it would produce an error code or could produce an error code. But normally what's going to happen is you're going to get a complaint from the end user saying, hey, I turned this unit on and it don't cool. If I turn that unit on, it don't cool. But if I turn them both on, they work just fine. That's generally types of issues that you'll run into when you cross pipe or cross.
Right. So what would you say is the current record holder for unit being cross-piped or cross-wired without anybody complaining about it? Like how long?
I can't. So before they actually find out that it was cross-wired,
yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, normally they're caught pretty quick. Usually within a week or two, that homeowner's on the phone going, "Hey, what's going on here?" Because because if you fire it up in the middle of summer and it's cross-wired, both units are pretty much calling most of the time.
Yeah.
Normally somewhere in there throughout the night or something, that temperature is going to drop down. One unit's going to have more demand than the other. One's going to be not running, one's going to be running, and now you got a ball of ice, and that's what the customer wakes up to. So normally it don't take very long, and they're on the phone with whoever installed it saying, hey, this thing's not working.
Yeah, I can tell you personal experience at a previous employer. They had one that it was about 3 years that it was cross-piped, and but it was a 2-zone that was serving the same space. Like a drainer.
I was just going to say, I bet you it was 2 zones servers in the same space. So
Yeah,
you're
and,
relatively getting the same demand on both units all the time.
right. And they went out to clean the coils or something along those lines, and they had one running. And then all of a sudden, they've got that. And people like to chase like sensors or EVs or something like that in those cases, especially if it's been running fine for 3 years. But if they're both pretty much always calling at the same time, then
And that's
no
a
problem.
funny observation, because I've had many calls, from contractors over the years doing technical support, and they'll say, "But if the thing worked fine for 4 years, now all of a sudden it don't work." And I consistently will still say, doesn't mean it was
Yeah.
installed right, because sometimes it just takes a while for it to rear its ugly head, and you're like, "Oh wow, this has been installed all these years wrong." And it doesn't happen often, but it absolutely happens. So
Yeah, it definitely does. I know in my previous life as tech support, the conversation about the possibility of it being cross-wired was always seemed to be a different one, or a difficult one to have, I should say.
the funniest one that I can tell you that I ever dealt with was a little old man on the phone. I say little old man because I'm talking to him over the phone. He just sounded like a little old man.
Could be a giant old man, right?
He could be a giant old man. I don't know. But anyway, and the guy was knowledgeable. I wasn't cutting him down. And I'm like, so essentially we went through it. He goes, "No, I know I don't have it cross-wired." And I'm like, "Well, humor me." So we turn them both on. They're working fine. We turn one off. And he finally says on the phone, he goes, "Man, I'm really sorry." I go, "What?" He goes, "I did cross-wire it. I crossed the wires after they went into the unit." He goes, "I see what I did." And I'm like, "Man, that ain't no big deal. As long as you found it, that's all I care about." So that's the thing that I will tell you our tech support team does not do. We're not going to beat anybody up if they did something wrong. If you're calling our tech support team, you need help, just be straight with us. We're more than happy. We're not going to try to deny warranties because you hooked something up wrong or anything. That's not what we're about. What we want to do is know the whole story so we can solve the problem and get you a satisfied customer as soon as possible.
Right. And knowing that whole story enables us to, help the next customer faster or help them at all, or, whatever it might be. So the next question on that is part numbers on the downflow kit.
Yeah, so if you go to our website, greecomfort.com, under products, look at the FLEXX Eco, and then pull up the manuals for that. You scroll down, you're going to see the downflow kit manual. That way you can pull up, see all the information there for how to install them and everything. The part numbers are there as well. You're going to have the CF8130, CF8131, and the CF8132. Just want to let everybody know that those just went into production at the factory, so we don't currently have them in stock. But as soon as we get those produced, we're going to air freight some over. So we should have those hopefully in June available to order.
Right. And that's the downflow. That's the status of the downflow kit for the FLEXX Eco.
For the FLEXX Eco. Now, for the current FLEXX Ultra, the 17th SEER model, we already have those downflow kits in stock. There's 2 models of those.
And those are the same downflow kits that are used for the multi-pro air handlers as well.
Correct.
So you got options, right? Let's see here. Got a question about Energy Star and the FLEXX units and when they might qualify again. Kind of goes into some detail about the IRA tax rebates. Different states obviously have different qualifications for those. You have any timeline or any thoughts on the FLEXX and that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the current FLEXX 17th SEER is the one that kind of qualifies for some of these Energy Star programs. But it's split up because everything now is going off of the CEE. That's what the IRA, the federal tax credit went off of. So there's a north and then a south kind of split for the U.S. on this. In the southern region, only the 2-ton FLEXX qualifies for that tax credit or the Energy Star rating. However, in the north, all models of the current Flex actually qualify, the 2, 3, 4, and 5 ton due to the fact that they have gone through the cold climate test. So they're Energy Star cold climate rated. So that's why in the north, they're Energy Star rated, whereas down in the south, only the 2 ton is. And I think it's because we miss on, I think it was the HSPF in the south. So that's in the current model. That being said, moving forward with the new R32 Flex Ultra, those are going to be more efficient, and we should be able to hit the Energy Star requirements across the board in both north and south.
That's great news. That's especially with those tax credits, I mean, it makes it a lot easier to sell, and it means there's just more money out there for everybody, right? It means we're going to raise our prices to $8,000, right? I'm just joking. Okay. So the next question we have is about the electrical connection on the outdoor unit. It says that there used to be a 2-piece design, and that the 1-piece design seems to be very difficult to wire up. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, we've notified the factory of that issue multiple times. We understand that having the 1-piece cover is very difficult to work with when both trying to attach the electrical, and then also if you have to give it and service it. So we're working with them to actually redo the stamping on that piece. So all the new R32 models coming out, you should see that return to the 2-piece design.
Okay.
Just a comment on that, so in case people are listening and make sure they understand, we're not talking about the Flex product at that point. We're talking about the mini split units, condensing units themselves. The panel used to be removable where your connections go without actually moving. You can remove the panel to get to the terminal strips and stuff without actually pulling the panel that has the electrical connections to it. Now it's a 1-piece panel. And when you pull it off, you're pulling off not only the cover panel to get to the terminal strips, but you're pulling off where the electric's connected to that panel, all in one panel. And then I agree with everybody on here, that whoever brought up that question, that does make it more difficult to get in there and service that unit. And that's what Justin was commenting to. Yes, we did contact the factory, and yes, that is going to get separated into 2 separate panels so that you'll be able to remove the cover panel without having to disturb the electrical connections into the unit. So the question came across, but didn't really specify which units we were talking about. So I want to make sure everybody was clear on exactly what units we were talking about there.
That's also good news. I mean, I will point out that, we are in constant conversation with the factory. Any kind of things that seem to be difficult in the field, let us know about those things. We can get those things changed. We've improved the products a lot because of that. There's a lot of things that you may not even know what they were planning on doing. And so we've improved a lot of those things. Just working together with the factory on it. The next question I've got is about the XE72 controller, wiring up to a Duct 12 HP 230 V1 BD. It says they were having difficulty hooking it up. It says it didn't have the correct connection cable or something like that. You guys?
So Daniel kind of talked about that a little bit when we talked about the XK72. And unfortunately, Daniel couldn't be here today. But there is a difference, though, that when the controller shipped with the unit versus if it is ordered separately. Because when you order just the controller, you get the adapters and everything. And Justin, maybe you can help me out here. I don't know. Is that the one that shipped with the ducted unit, the XE72?
Yes, the XE72 should be shipping with the ducted unit.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought. So I got to wonder if we weren't trying to plug up the wrong spot, because I believe on the ducted, it plugs up directly to the board. So I don't think an adapter is needed, but I'd have to do some more homework on that. So do you know by chance, Justin?
Not off the top of my head, but we'll look into it and get back to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just as a reminder, the question mark icon is what you would click on to submit questions. We're happy to answer any of the questions that you have. The next question I've got, excuse me, on a multi-system Gen 2 with Vireo heads, I have no snow icon or sun on heat showing on head. All right. Unit works great, but no icons. Temp shows on the head and red off icon. Any ideas? Says, asks Andy.
Believe on the Vero heads, on those models, it only displays the temperature. I don't believe.
I'll check right now.
Yeah, you've got one.
Not the one in my background. That's fake. Yes, the Vireo heads only show the set point and then the red icon if you have it off. It does not show cool, heat, dry.
Yeah, you don't get the icons on the.
Yeah, so always just look at your controller, whether it's the remote or the wall control, for the icon to verify which function mode you're in.
Right. Well, now I turned my air conditioner off, so I'll be uncomfortable. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. Just joking. And as a reminder, if you ever come across a GREE product of any kind and doesn't have a display on it whatsoever, there is a light button on the remote, whether that's a light bulb or something that says light. Be sure to try to hit that light button, or if your customer, your homeowner calls you, says they don't have any display, but it's working, tell them to hit that light button and they should be able to get a display.
And that's important to remember too, as well, because you won't read the error code if the display's turned off.
And each time you press a button, even if the display's off, every time you press a button, it does show up for a minute and then turn back off. Let's see. On the timer, we get this question quite a bit: is how to activate or deactivate the timer. I can tell you that one of our more popular videos, we go over that on the remote controller video that we've got. But here's a hint: if it has on or off next to the clock, the on timer or off timer is activated. So you can have an on timer, which will bring the unit on at a specific time, and then you can have an off timer that turns off the unit at a specific time. Okay, so if you want to deactivate those, which most people would, if it has on or off next to that clock, you press timer on or timer off until there's nothing next to the clock, and your system will run like it's supposed to. Let's see. One more reminder, the question mark icon. Click that question mark icon, ask whatever question you'd like to ask. It doesn't even have to be related to air conditioning. That's fine. We can answer any question that you have. Got some smart people on this meeting today. You got anything you'd like to add, Greg, before we go?
Well, I seen the one that you didn't bother to say, but one of them, something that came through was about do we actually use the equipment in our own homes? Well, there's two nerd guys on here that absolutely have it in their own homes.
Oh, wow, yeah.
and I'll tell you, I really like it. The functionality to it, be able to have the different rooms zoned, having a mini split in my garage. Oh my God, it's just best thing since sliced bread. So, but yeah, I one of the reasons why I work here, and I'm truthful when I say this, is because I do think that GREE builds a quality piece of equipment, and I like supporting it because of the fact that I know it's a quality piece of equipment. So, and therefore, I'm in a new home, and I would have never put it in here if I didn't like the equipment. So I just had this house built. So that's kind of a testament to how we feel about the equipment. James, I believe you have it in your home too, and that was by choice as well. So
yeah, it was. I didn't pay someone to put it in, but Greg, but I'm just messing with you. Anyway, I took the ductwork out from under my house. It had what's called the trunk line, which I know is so it's old. But I took that out, patched in the floors and all that. I've got a 4-zone multi-pro ultra system in my house, and I've had it for about 6 years now, and I've liked it the entire time. I've got a Vario in my office. You know, I'm a big believer in the equipment as well.
And just to kind of make sure everybody understands here, it wasn't that I wasn't completely capable of putting in my own system. I lived 7 hours away while this house was being built. So trying to get it done would have been tougher for me to do it if I was traveling 7 hours to do it. So
Yeah, that's true. I can understand.
Thanks for beating me up there, James.
Oh, I don't know. Not everybody has the option of climbing out of their bed and going and, you know, working on their air conditioner. I get that, you know. Got another question. Common complaint from our elderly clients. The remote is hard to see or read.
I got a solution to that.
What's that, Greg?
Co-automation. Get the app on their phone. That thing looks like a billboard.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I know that, you know, I've got some elderly members of my family, you know, and they often have access to a tablet. So the cool automation that we use, it's an option that we have. It's an app that goes on iPads or, you know, any kind of Android-based system. And so that is that's a possibility there.
Well, I don't think it's just Android. You could do it on iPhone too.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Apple products too.
iPhone,
So
any of the Apple stuff.
but yeah, so you
web-based. You know?
basically what James is saying. So essentially, the way co-automation works is once you got your login, you get it all set up. You can actually access controls on that from your computer, from a tablet, from your phone. And I was serious when I said when you pull up that app on your phone, it is huge. It's easy to read, to adjust temperatures and modes and all that. It's really a lot easier to see than the remote would be. So just another option.
Yeah, I noticed that my remote's getting fuzzy over time. Obviously, it's not because I need glasses; it's just the remote. Something's wrong with it. Yeah, that's definitely an option. See, the next question I got is about the downflow kit for the FLEXX. Let's see. It says the AH had a different style of doors. Has the door changed on a new version of the air handler? That may be between the AH model and BH model.
Mm-hmm.
Were the doors different between those two?
Yeah. So the setup on the current FLEXX versus the FLEXX Eco, the doors definitely different, and that's why we have the different downflow kits. So it is a little different. So
no, Justin, he's talking about the AH version of FLEXX versus the BH version of FLEXX. The Ultra.
Oh, the AH. I can't remember because actually the A model is actually before my time. I say time, that means in the 3 years since I've been here. So I don't exactly remember what was changed between the AH versus BH other than the static pressure.
Yeah, I don't know if the doors are changed. That would have to take a little research to see if the doors actually changed. Yeah,
and the A model's been out of production for quite some time. So that being said, the downflow kits were produced long after the AH models went out of production. So those downflow kits are for the BH models.
Right.
And yes, you're right. That downflow kit was specifically made for that. I mean, that's just something we'd have to go try, I guess. And if you say it won't fit, then it won't fit, right? Let's see here. Our friend at there we go. Friend Adam Huffman said that the controls option won't work on his BlackBerry flip phone. So he says.
That being said, on the newer R32 equipment, we've been working the factory trying to improve our controllers and everything. So this probably is not going to be like the exact one, but we're trying to go to controls that have a backlit LCD screen. So hopefully it'll be a little easier to see. And yeah, so let's see if we can get.
There you go.
There you go. See, it kind of lights up. Kind of nice and neat. And then the icons are going to be bigger and easier to read. So depending on how badly your eyes have degenerated over time, you should be able to see this, whereas I know some of the older model controls were not so easy.
The way mine are going, I'm kind of worried about it when I get a little bit older. I won't even be able to control my own system. I have to have somebody else do it.
Yeah, I told my wife we had a backlit one coming, and she's like, well, "Why don't you have one?" Because she's been wanting that for I don't know how long. You know, like waking up in the middle of the night and wanting to turn it down or something like that. Got to turn the light on. You know, I told her just to press buttons until it changes on the unit, but apparently that's not something I should recommend. I'm always wrong though. You know, I don't know how you guys are. All right. So we got some follow-up that we can do on the downflow kit. You know, with the folks that asked that question, we can get back to them on that. Let's see. Anything you'd like to add, Justin? I already asked Greg, and then he talked too long.
No, I think we're good. I think we covered a lot of good material today. And again, if customers have questions, feel free to reach out to us, email us. I think we're pretty good about responding to those emails. If you go on the YouTube website, look at the videos there. If you want to post some comments or questions there, you know, we're always willing to respond to those comments.
So in the future, if you ever have questions, you know, be sure to, you know, hit the question mark button, ask those questions, or if you want to make jokes, I got some people to call after this. But our friend Rob says that Greg could use a clapper to control his unit. So,
well, I've already got the medical alert thing coming. You know, you hang around your neck. Help! I fell. I can't get up. Got one of them coming.
Right? Does that work with the GREE Plus app? All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I really appreciate you guys attending. And be sure to attend next time and check out all our YouTube videos that we've got. Follow us on social media. You know, if you got any questions on this stuff, you know, please feel free to reach out to us via our tech support, via your rep, via your distributor, whoever that you have that represents GREE. Well, thank you, and everyone have a great day.
Hey, thanks for watching Talking Comfort Live with GREE HVAC. Make sure to keep a lookout for an invite to our next show, or subscribe to our GREE Comfort YouTube channel to make sure you get notified anytime we release new content.